Here is my lovely fiancé Aarnimetsa, and this is our sit and go coaching night. Welcome back after our first break.
I think that in these MTT sit and goes, it's sometimes that you don't have any interesting situations. But I think this session has been full of interesting.
Yeah, you're surely true about that, because there has been so many weird spots already, and usually the games are here just like pretty no-brainer situations all in all.
Like pretty straightforward situations, since most situations are quite close with MTTs, since there is almost no ICM pressure and all the situations are pretty close.
There is a hand from Kaleon on our chat. If anyone has any comments for it, feel free to give your opinions. It's good to have opinions from other players as well, from the hands you have played, because they might open your eyes in another way you haven't thought about the situation before, or give some other input.
Since everything is working quite nicely and you have been doing quite nicely, shall we add the amount of tables, if these are the last tables we are registering, so that we are having some end games?
Sure. Everything has been going quite nicely. I've been just busting my tournament. Yeah, I have now registered for 2 more. So we are not going to play these for the rest of the night for many hours, but hope to see some final table action as well.
And Kaleon has won $8.89, and money is pouring in from Windows. So
Congratulations. Now that's a way.
like if you are pouring that with 1-cent coins, it would look like now it's really raining money.
Yeah.
It's like 889 coins. So.
That would be quite devastating amount of coins to carry on your purse. And Nikki Isofan is saying that he bets that I can't do 42 tables. I think I have never done 42 tables. I have done closer to 30, I guess.
I think you have done 30 when you were playing 50-50s.
Yeah. Around 30 is probably my record. Too bad there's no record of that. Like there is a small there.
Wait on the other window.
Yeah. There is a nice video of Aarnimetsa multitabling 42 tables with Session Lord. And it was done quite recently, so you can find that on our YouTube page, youtube.com/pokerimania, and there is Aarnimetsa multitabling with Session Lord, so you can see how fast action is required to do that.
Register 2 more.
2 more. I don't know where to put my tables. Maybe 1 more.
2 more. You can fit some of the tables on top of each other.
Okay. But I have to admit, normally when I'm playing, I'm not explaining myself to anybody else, so it takes a bit more time.
Yeah, and if you look through the Session Lord special that we did, I think at some point like 25 tables, and after that I didn't talk that much since talking would infer too much with my thought process. So generally that's something that it might look nice to see 40 something tables, but then it puts so much stress on the computer. Like our streaming software, there is hand going on the other screen.
Yeah. This is something I was a bit worried about. I will miss those. Thanks for pointing it out.
And RLUH said that how long have I been playing poker? Oh wow. I think I first played poker in 2004 or 2005. 2004 probably. But then I quit poker for multiple years. I think I didn't play poker for something like 6 years.
Yeah, you didn't play poker when we met, and I think it took some time, a few years, even though afterwards, when you started to play again.
I think it was like 2010 or 2011 that I started playing again. So probably something like 5, 6, 7 years, somewhere in the neighborhood.
And Kalyan's record is around 34 with 5 different formats. That's quite a lot. The more formats you have, the harder it is to get everything under control, and you have to remember when's the bubble and if there are some knockouts, or is it the normal speed or turbo speed or hyper, or is there some kind of special situations I need to consider. But basically when the bubble is and how the play is going on around that time, that's probably the most important thing to be aware of.
But when I started playing poker, I think that limit hold'em was the thing then. Like all the cash tables were, or almost all the cash tables that players really played were limit, and no limit wasn't played that much.
I have never played a single hand of fixed limit, live at least. No, not in home games either.
But it's something like fixed limit hasn't been popular in a while.
Is it that because all the poker software and tools came along and it gave so much help with the play?
No. I just think that limit hold'em is not as interesting. There's not that many different options, and when the tournaments have been no limit hold'em for a long time, I think that also like players wanted to play the same games that they saw on TV, and no limit hold'em was branded quite. I think that there is like also the with fixed limit you need to play with quite large blinds and you can't win big pots compared to your blinds. But with no limit hold'em, you can play like 1-2 with deep stacks, and you can win almost $1,000 per, or you can win $1,000 per pot. So I think that that's the main reason that no limit has been more enticing.
There's a question that how long I've been playing poker. Around 5 years now. That's when I started to learn the basics of the game and got intrigued.
Did you think about shoving in the bottom left pre-flop?
I did think about it, but I wasn't sure if it's quite okay with that blind levels. That probably would have been a good option as well. Since now I think I just have to fold since there's that big of a bet and I have just 2 overcards.
And a gut shot.
The gut shot is not a thing. If somebody says you it's a thing, don't trust them. It's not really a thing. That's my personal opinion, not professional. Would you
And
have
Nikki
shoved that?
Benisovani says that while sitting out in half of them, that's bullshit. I didn't sit out on any of those tables on the video, so
Let the money pour in. So which one of these is the furthest? This one, I guess. What did I lose here with?
pocket nines, I think.
Yeah. Actually, I prefer to check raise there. Probably everything else is just too suspicious. Yeah. Shove, shove, shove.
And there's eject me's questions on.
Yeah, I have some other tables here on the outside, so it's taking a bit of my time. But there's a question that, Arni, what got you into poker?
No, it's question for you.
How long I've been playing?
No, the next question is also for you.
I'm misreading the questions. Maybe you should read them out loud. Yeah, Arni got me into playing. He started to play those again and then said that maybe he could teach me too. And I was innocent. I didn't know what to do. And he told me that it's okay. It's okay, I will tell you. And from the first hands I remember playing online, they went crappily. But he said that don't go to play with play money since it's not like real poker. Everybody's just playing so wrong there in a way that you will only learn bad habits and not the good ones. And you need to learn good habits right away and not to be influenced by the overall wrong kind of atmosphere. Why there are so many weird situations going on here on the tables? It should be so straightforward, but for some reason it is not. I played 45 men's, other MTT SNGs afterwards. Played tons of super turbos on full tilt, like tons of them. Quite along some 50-50s, then hypers. So basically the quicker formats there are.
And eject me says that nice move that I can't do the same with my girlfriend. I think poker is something that I don't think that it's the optimal family hobby. Like, it perhaps sounds a bit funny, but it requires certain type of people, or it requires certain it also requires certain type of people that are willing to make the mental game contributions, since in poker, especially if you're playing poker more seriously, there are a lot of things that you might feel a bit bad about. So like having the mental game in order is going to be really important, especially if you are having someone else playing. But I think it's also easier because I don't need to explain many of the things to Dayah in like what's happening, and we can also support each other because we are both doing that.
I think if I didn't know anything about poker and I would have never played myself, like not a single hand, it would be really hard for me to understand the mood swings and all the aspects that comes within playing poker, like for example variance and running bad or running good and so forth. So in a way it's good, but it's also quite tough in many ways.
Could you unlock the layout and move this one a bit down because you can't see the stack size behind that? That annoys me a bit when I'm looking at some tables where.
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last time I moved these when we were playing 50-50s and then.
It's a different layout. It doesn't affect anything.
Okay.
Press I'm back there on both of the tables. The layout you have on 50-50s doesn't affect the layout in 9-max tables.
Okay.
There are just some differences, like there is right now you can see on the other tables that where the table gets under a critical limit, like in here it was okay, but when it's over the critical limit, then the stacks are a bit bigger and all the spots are a bit bigger, so then the HUD doesn't work as well. So when you have had a certain size of tables before and not using all the screen or you haven't had these stream size tables, I think that's mainly the problem.
Yeah. My tables are now in a bit different way, so it hasn't been like this before. So maybe now after we have gotten ourselves into playing poker, we should start tuning motorbikes. I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty in a way, but I have to admit that I don't know that much about the motorcycles or cars or mechanics, so I probably would be a lousy partner for that, at least for the beginning. Maybe not that as well.
There's on the other screen.
Yeah, I definitely prefer to play in a stack rather than having tables on two different screens.
And RLUJ said, where have you learned the Nash stuff? Because it's hard for me. I like to improve with book stuff. Yeah, don't spend any of your money in books. Spend money on Holder Resources Calculator. If you are interested in the Nash equilibrium solutions, it's something that is really hard to do outside or in the tables and very hard to do inside your head. So it's mainly about pattern recognition. And you can do some helpers, like you can print out some of the charts in some situations that happen all the time. Like in MTTs, I think that it would be quite easy to do quite good charts to help you along.
Oh, there's a question about that pocket fives. Check call again with the turn. Yeah, that would have been a good option as well. Hard to say which one is better, but at least at that point, I think I'll get more hands going all in on a turn rather than on the river. There has been a lot of discussion about the boyfriend, girlfriend, both or the other playing poker, and is it possible to teach the other one, or is it completely impossible, or is it even something you should ever consider to do? Well, I think we're just one example. It's depending so much on the situation, on the people itself. You can't say you should or you shouldn't, or you could teach your girlfriend or wife to play poker. You need a certain kind of mentality for it, and it's not certain that the other guy or the partner even wants to do it. So
yeah, if you want to learn poker, you need to have a certain burn for it or certain interest in games, and eject me asked in Holder's calculator when the equity starts to get so big, or just the 0.01s accumulate on the long run. I don't actually think that it's about the 0.01s, since there is a lot of there's a lot of variance and there's a lot of unknowns in our opponent's range. So the 0.01s, they don't matter, but the 1.0s matter. And then, like in 45 minutes, if you are making a mistake on the final table where you are losing like 1% of the prize pool, it can be quite huge, since the prize pools are almost 40 buy-ins in these games, or it's a bit over 40 buy-ins. So if you're losing 1% of the prize pool in the final table in these games, then you are losing about 40% of ROI, and that's a mistake you can easily do in the final table. And also, it's something that you don't go for a Holder Resource calculate and just quick analyze everything and just try to play Nash. The goal is not to play Nash. In most sit and go formats, rake is going to be too high that a player playing Nash probably doesn't. Even a player playing perfect Nash but playing only push fold is probably not going to be plus EV at over $7 or over $15 level on most sit and goes, since the rake is going to be so high compared to the edge that you are going to get by just playing Nash, that it's in sit and goes. At least I think that those are a place where you are searching for exploitive strategies and trying to exploit your opponents the max. But knowing the Nash strategy, knowing the game theory optimal strategies are something that are going to be important, especially playing with regs, since then you can try to exploit the players that are having big holes, and then the players that are playing good, you can lose as little to those players as possible. And for the discussion on should you try to teach your life partner or wife or girlfriend poker, I have sometimes thought that it has been also it's something that might be a bit harder to do. Like, I think an outside coach would have had easier time. Like, when you are living with someone and you have been living with someone for multiple years, then it starts to be like it's going to be easier for you to show your frustration to the other person, and sometimes it makes for some pretty frustrated sessions.
that's completely true. I have to underline that, since we have been together for ages already. Um, of course, he's not too afraid to show his emotions to me or just talking straight with other things. He's not sugarcoating my mistakes or whatnot. So in a way, I get more straight feedback than all the other guys you are teaching. So I think it's harder for me in a way to get coaching from you since we are that close to each other.
Nikki Benisovani, no, just no. There's going to be so much more work involved. Like the markups should need to be insane, and like also the amount of games should be quite insane for it to make sense for either one of us.
But there is a possibility to buy coaching from us. Aarnimetsa is one of our sit and go coach, and there is also Kaleon and Kyberi. If you want to learn PLO, send a message to Kyberi, and Kaleon reached the Supernova Elite status last year, and he is also available for the sit and go coaching. So if you go to our forum, there is a section for private coaching and what it includes and how much it costs and what are the options and so forth. So you can reach them and they will be happy to help you with your poker strategy and learning process.
Oh, we are getting the sound effects again.
Helicopter, is the President of the USA starting to pick me up already? I think he shouldn't be here yet. I don't know where it comes from. Seriously. Oh, it's a landing.
Like there's a lot more fan noise from your laptop than on my computer, but it still shouldn't be. It's like so far away from the microphone.
Yeah, for sure. And it should be constant voice if it were that.
We are doing some pretty fancy DSP work to try to remove as much noise as we can, and it might have some kind of a feedback loop that it goes in. I need to check it because we are using really similar stuff on both systems.
So it comes when we are not talking, so we should just talk all the time, not having any breaks whatsoever. And that's so strange.
And it's something that I have never heard from, like I was at other side and then I was listening for it at the moment, and it's something that I can't understand why it happens. It completely beats me on.
But good that you tell us that something is going on, so we just need to trying to figure out if there's anything we can do about it, because it hasn't been something we have had earlier on, I think.
Kaleon said that stream disconnected. It shouldn't have.
Came back now. Did it disconnect to anybody else or everybody else? Just trying to find here a nice spot to put my chips in, but haven't seen one recently.
I think on that top right corner we are thinking about going all in on some hand during this orbit if by any means possible, since going through the blinds will be absolutely devastating.
Yeah, and the blinds are going up really soon. Just trying to find a reasons a good enough spot or okayish hand.
I'm going to check it out. So You hang in there.
I'll hang in there. So I think it got disconnected to quite a few people, but refreshing the page sorted it out. I'm pretty sure that if there would be a helicopter, I would hear it as well. It's either this one or the next 2-3 hands. I think I don't like it at all. There could be a better ace, but I'm in a really bad shape anyway. And there could be a pocket pair smaller than my 8. I'm not quite sure about this, to be honest. It was a desperation situation, to say the least. You just need to put your chips in some spot that you might get some value for it. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for me there. I could have waited for 2 hands more, but odds for me getting a better hand than that are not that high. So you just need to try to accumulate your chips amount. So refreshing the page worked for everybody. I hope it's not because of my computer and its possibilities, since it's not quite as good as Aarnimetsa's, but it should be good enough for streaming and playing. So it's kind of weird that there's some going on. Without this opening, I would have shoved this for sure, but if the UGG is opening, I don't see a way for me to get in there. Yeah, Arni left and helicopter went away, so 1 + 1 is Arni went with the helicopter. Yeah, actually I think it would be nice to have your own helicopter and fly to Finland whenever, but I think the closest like proper helicopter pad is in Tallinn Sadam in Linnahall. There used to be a helicopter service, but they closed up a few years ago when there was one crash and they went down within it. I think ever since there hasn't been a new service going on, but I think it's still cheaper to buy your ferry tickets to Finland rather than having your own helicopter. Even though it would save you a few hours every now and then, the costs for it would be just way too high considering the upside of the situation. Yeah, if I'm starting to play high rolls and playing those for a while, then you might notice that I have enough pocket money to get my own chopper. But no, not yet. I haven't got my own chopper yet, and I haven't even asked that from Santa this year. This guy seems to be a wreck. For sure. But still I need to fold. I'm starting to wonder if we make it to at least one final table tonight. This is clear. Actually, I said that this guy seemed to be a wreck, so let's mark him. And let's call. So Aarnimetsa is saying the problem seems to be at the Twitch's end. All the other streams have been continuous. That's good enough of a spot for us tonight. Queen 7 off. If we are just waiting for a good spot forever, there's not going to be any folding equity for us, so we need to give up a good fight for at least. Actually, if I could decide, I wouldn't get a chopper. I would get one of those boats that can go on water and on a road. There's a huge like air balloon kind of a thing that it goes on top of the waves. I don't remember, I don't probably even know what it's called in English. But that would be nice because then I could park it like just on outside of the door. I wouldn't have to go to city center to get a chopper. It would be more convenient, and then I could travel to coastal Finland everywhere. It could even go over the ice, I think. Is that correct? Kind of want to shove this, but I think it's a bit too weak for it. This is a bit similar situation. But as you can see, these games are starting to get into a situation when quite often you'll face either shove or fold. So you better know your shove ranges or practice those before you start to play these more. Oh dear. Running a bit bad, but that's okay. And here, as you can see, the blinds are pretty horrific already, 200, 400. And there are lots of 10 or less big blind stacks in a game. And let's flip and hope for the best. Wow, that's good. There with aces I could have shoved, but I think with raising it's not too spooky for these guys, and I could get more people participating in that way. And there we go. Now lots of situations. And with tens I'm seeing more and more better pocket pairs than mine. That was already, I don't know even how many times I have seen bigger pocket pair with against my pocket tens, but these are my final 4 tables at the moment, and they are most likely, well, at least they are closest to the final table so far. There's 19, 18, 18 and 14 tables, 14 players left. Oh, there's some taxation conversation going on. Yeah. Aarnimetsa should definitely be here and not talking so much on the other room on the chat because I can't keep up with my reading now. You're making my life harder when you are there and not here. Ekranoplan. Was Ekranoplan the one that I was talking about?
It's a ground effect vehicle. That's not an airplane, not a boat, not a hovercraft.
Actually, hovercraft was the one that I was thinking about. What was it? That Ekranoplan was the one that's like really new thing that it's nowhere yet, right?
It's like a really new thing that Russians did, like really big ones of those in, I think it was 1950s or something like that.
50s?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's not that useful since that it can only fly on top of really smooth surfaces.
I think it was something like really new invent or something.
The hobbyists are starting to build their own small ones, and those are quite new.
Without that nasty river ace, I would have had like a really good spot there to go to final table.
There was a point on the Jack Ace 8 suited.
Yeah. I was thinking about that if that was too wide. Maybe a bit too afraid of the upcoming blinds. Sea Preacher Shark. Is that a vehicle?
Neo's sending video on an Aqua's quick keeper, so.
Is that the one that looks like a bug?
I have absolutely no idea. And Calleon says that could it be possible to create an option to mark a post as a coaching question? It isn't easy, but there is like right now there is the bottom bar on the chat that you can add the at buttons there. So you can use the at Aarnimetsa too. Since Dayah doesn't have her own button yet.
Yeah, if there's like 20 messages in 1 minute, it's really hard to keep up what's going on. Yeah, I will definitely try to look for it a bit later on. What's a sea preacher shark? Or aqua skipper? Well, there is a YouTube link from Neo.
Aqua skipper might be the like where you are pumping yourself using the
Yeah, I
muscle
thought
power.
that could be it. But it's like there's no motor or anything.
You are the motor.
Yeah.
I thought those are also surprisingly expensive.
I have seen those. There are, I think, few of those in Tallinn or in Estonia when you can go and have some kind of, company days and just borrow those for the whole group or something. You can try it on.
So when you are on our chat and there's a coaching going on, there is there are what are these? There are options to direct a post to our coaches. So when you are pressing our coach's name on the bar that's on the bottom of our chat, then you can easily add the at markings to point out the post to our coaches. And we can show it on the stream as well at some point. Where is it then?
Yeah, no worries. I'm soon busting the rest of the tables as well, and I have plenty of time for it. Actually, here we have the money. The bubble just bursted. There's 6 players left. The only downside is that the huge stack is here on my left side at the moment.
Reload Poker Mania. Yeah. So the guys that are online go down all the way. Because you are against Miss Pose on the final table. Miss Pose is on your right side, so perhaps you should move the table out.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, because there is one maniac, so we got the final table, but there is a maniac on the final table.
Apologize. Apologizing that I have to remove it for now. And Edu is also a reg. That's good to know. So clearly Eject Me is playing a lot of these as well.
That is something that usually I'll wait for, that I'm having a sample size myself.
Kinda hate this that I'm shoving almost any two. And then I get just a lousy.
Against a random player that's tight, I think that is a huge mistake not to shove any two on there. I think that was a huge mistake.
So it was a huge mistake. Okay.
I think that was a huge, like when we are seeing a player that's 14/2, I'm thinking that they are calling something like, they should be calling something close to 50% or with against the 6 player, something close to 40 to 50% against the 6.
Well, this guy's basically with a really wide range.
But I think that you are correct in a way that that's actually a really good example that the 9 deuce off is not a Nash shove. Like if Sillinho plays perfectly, then 9 deuce off is going to be a bad shove. But in general, I think that it's going to be a big mistake by, like, if you are going through Hold'em resources and trying to get rid of all the hands that are outside Nash, that's going to be a mistake that is going to be really costly for you if you are not playing well in spots where opponents are.
Okay.
Opponents are playing way outside Nash themselves.
Yeah, I thought that since my stack is not really a weapon anymore. But yeah. Maybe I overplayed myself, thinking that these players are better than they really are.
Like if I'm having a random player there, I'm shoving pretty much any two in those spots. Especially as we have no ICM pressure here.
Yeah, I'm still on a final table if anybody is wondering, but there is still 6 players left, so nothing has changed. The chips have been moved forward from player to player, but nothing to my direction really. Let's hope for a better hand there to bust them all. 14-14. It's unbelievable. Yeah, I'm trying to drop the maniac. I'm trying my best. I'm not even quite sure which one it is. Well, now I have a hand, maybe.
One on your instant right. And that wasn't very trustworthy, you saying apparently.
So one on my instant right.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I can show this right now.
But the point of moving a table outside is to not knowing your hand and by saying that, well, now I'm having a hand even though the table is outside, it's probably not going to be optimal.
I'm a bit too afraid. I should have min raised that, but I want to be against this guy, and I don't want to get reshot against that.
Okay, Maniac is dropped, and we are back on a live stream again.
But we do have actually we do have a small delay, so no worries there. I'm not willing to do the same move than I did last time.
If that would have been suited, would you have done it?
It would be easier.
Folding ace-9 suited, mark that one, Haleon says. Where you did fold ace?
Where did I fold it? I don't know. Actually, I'm in a bit of a trouble since my time banks are quite gone. I don't know where I folded ace. Gotta go all in. Could have gone before.
Bottom right.
Should have gone on the turn, but probably wouldn't have changed a thing. No, I'm just completely lost. There. Ah, okay.
That's actually a good hand to mark.
Yeah.
And Ratarad says that I think min raise call would have been the way to go with king jack off. I don't actually think that we can min raise call against a Greek guy that seems to be a loose guy there. But against the short stack, I think that we can min raise call. There is, like in the final table, there is some more final table considerations.
Yeah, now I marked the hand. No king!
What happened with the aces? What did your opponent have? I missed the hand.
Something like 9, 10 suited or something. The flush came through.
7 places paid, so you can open the lobby there. And now you can already think that what you are going to do with your huge bounty of at least $18.
Yeah. So there's one limper, shove, 10 big blinds. UTG plus 1. I don't really like it. That's so weird. Like, why would you limp here if you wouldn't be trapping? And if you limp, you shouldn't fold anything pre-flop.
He was the guy that played with 14/2 stats earlier on, 9-handed.
5-minute break. Okay, this is our second break. Be right back.